What's happening? Get out of the building. All right. Tuesday morning walk and talk. I believe it's Tuesday. How is everybody? Can I get a audio check? Hey, almost a full moon. I don't know if we can see it or not. Yeah, there it is. Right above my head. Tuesday morning. One of the slowest days of the week. Hey, Rob, good. 5x5. It's fantastic. And I planned on turning the camera around the phone, and I realized I cannot do that because I won't be able to read the comments. I would need two phones, which I have. But thanks, Chuck. Good to see y'all. What's up? What's happening, partner? Man, what a day yesterday. Good God. I'm going to get into some whining and crying and complaining and borderline feeling sorry for myself, although I never truly feel sorry for myself. Let's start with the air conditioner in the motel room. Took a shit overnight. I think, thankfully, it's not hot at all right now. It's not even humid, but and realistically, it's not going to get that hot in the room today, depending on how long it takes these people to fix it, which ultimately is just most likely some maintenance people will come in and take out the entire unit. It's a motel, so I'm sure we're all familiar with that style of air conditioner / heater. They'll probably remove it, but that will mean I will most likely be at my room most of the day. And then certainly after this broadcast, I'm planning, hey, what's up, Musical's a Secret? I'm planning to go back and mostly just be there. Well, first organize all my things. There's going to be people in the room, right? And I don't know how else to say this other than just say it. Musical's a Secret. So I actually did a live stream. I recorded a live stream like unlisted yesterday. I lost that fucking flashlight, man. Lost the motherfucker. First day out, gone. No idea. Yeah. If you want, I'll send you the link to me fucking just beside myself. And that's a big part of what happened yesterday, man. Right when I got to the library, got everything set up. I'm like, okay, what time do I want to go live? Maybe I want to call into some other shows. Hey, where's my flashlight? And it's like, fuck. Am I going to really run all around the library fucking half-baked and try to retrace all my steps? I'm going to get back in the car if I can go back to everywhere I just went. You know what I mean? Like all those things we do in a fucking panic, right? Panic mode. So I don't know, man. I mean, I just don't know how to fucking tell somebody that they sent you a nice gift and you fucking lost the motherfucker the first. I mean, and I could get into, well, if you care about the details, I'll just send you the link to what I recorded when I got back to the room. So then it's like, okay, do I spend another 20 minutes packing all this stuff up, right? And get the fuck out of here and then maybe still not find the thing, or just get back to the room and it's like, oh, there it is. How silly of me. I thought I had it with me, but I didn't. Right. But for some insane reason, I like these pants that have these cargo pants, but they have these stupid pockets on the outside that aren't closed. And anytime I put something in one of them pockets, man, something bad happens. So I know not to do that. And I fucking did it anyway. I guess I thought I would at some point come up with a better idea and maybe move it to somewhere else. I don't know what happened. Most likely I bumped up against something and knocked it out. Well, I mean, and thank you for taking that well, dude. And my thing is, I make these kind of mistakes so rarely that, like, I almost don't know how to process it when it happens. But, and then I'm a person, and it's like, well, obviously I'm going to screw up at times. But I remember when I used to talk to Cecil, he lives out there in the Eastern Oregon desert, and I hitchhiked through there one time. I went from the coast of Oregon all the way across Oregon to the, all the way across the motherfucker. And at a certain point, some people gave me a ride out of Bend, Oregon. Just headed west into the desert. Not the summertime, obviously, but typically pretty warm in the desert. And they had, and usually I would not sit in the back of somebody's pickup truck, but this was one of those times when it was like, okay, I'm not getting a lot of rides. YOLO, let's just do it. So every once in a while, I would get in the back of somebody's pickup. So I had my phone, man, and as a penniless homeless person, like just scraping together the money for the $100 Walmart phone was a big deal. I think I had service, which was even more fucking astonishing. Meanwhile, we're in the goddamn desert, right? Nobody's around. The fucking thing fell out of the same thing. It was a Dickies pants with that bullshit pocket, man. Stay away from them bullshit pockets. And got out. They dropped me off. Fucking no sooner than they left, I pat my, I'm patting myself down, check my stuff. No phone. Fucker was in the back of their truck, never to be seen from again. Never to be seen or heard from again. I fucking cried like a baby. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Out there in the goddamn desert. just like, how can I be that dumb, right? How is this even possible? Fuck. And that's why I don't buy expensive stuff sometimes. Even though I am really good at keeping up with my things for the most part, sometimes it's like, I don't know, man. That thing's nice though. God damn. Shit. And then, I'm going to go to Walgreens at some point. I mean, it's possible. I actually had a really good conversation with the guy at Walgreens. That's the first place I went. So for all I know, I bent down to get the Amazon gift card. It just fell out of my pocket. So I actually had a good conversation, intelligent conversation with the fellow working there. So I'll go back today and maybe he's got it. Who knows? I've had really good success in the past, just panicking and realizing I left something behind and then just magically it's still there. But that streak can only last so long, right? Yeah, I did, man. And that's part of my live stream I did for you last night was, I asked them, and they're really nice folks at the library, but it's that thing where, God forbid I have to go ask the lost and found because, and I understand that people are this way, but it's like now we have to go through some sort of emotional process whereby they have to like try to babysit my feelings around losing this item. And my thing is like, yeah, I'm going to do all that later. Like whatever the emotional roller coaster is, like I just want the information. Like if I'm going to the lost and found, I might be in a panic, but it's like, just tell me the information, please. Skip the part where the person tries to assuage my feelings, which I understand it's a very human thing, right? But thankfully they didn't really do that to me. They seem pretty introverted, and autism is rising, I must say. Autism is rising. Definitely. We got a really good library here. I'm happy with that. So, dude, that just fucking completely defeated me. That's part of why that live stream was so fucking bizarre yesterday, because it was just like, I'm just sitting there the whole time like, really? Is this really what you do, Ben? The fucking kind listeners send you things and you lose them first day, right? And then I think we've all known people that just kind of do that type of shit like almost on purpose, right? It's like, God damn, what are they going to think? But anyway, man, I don't know what else to say it than just say it. So, wow. I feel like a fucking jackass. Oh, dude, and listen, man, I believe me, part of it was like, okay, that sucks, but it could have been much worse. Like I have things I carry on my person that it would be way worse if I were to lose, right? So, yeah, that was part of it as well. I was like, okay, like this is bad, but yeah, wallet or whatever, right? And somehow I managed to keep up with my wallet, but it's always in my pocket. I'm one of them people that I'm like habitually just touching my things, like are my keys there? Is my fucking phone there? Oh, dude, and the THCO, man. I mean, a lot of folks don't want to. This is a disaster on some level that I'm getting this fucking baked all day, every day. It's going to be way better when I go back to clear-headedness, right? Definitely. So anyway, I hope you forgive me, sir. Fuck. Yeah, the air conditioner. That's a thing. Like I say, shouldn't be any big deal. It is funny, man, because yesterday was like Monday was my first day of my new month, and they just go like date to date. So mine's like 28th to the 28th the next month. And it's been pretty quiet, man. Like it's been almost too quiet. I rarely hear any other people, and I make a racket sometimes. Obviously, sometimes I'm dropping shit in there and making a racket, or I'm on some. I might go live at 6 in the morning or whatever with my loud ass voice. But it's like a bunch of people moved in all on that day, which again, it's expected and normal. But kids running around and hooping and hollering and fucking TVs going off. And then my air conditioner quits working. I'm like, fuck, dude, give me my 800 back. I'm out. But, I'm not ready to leave anyway. So. Although I considered moving back into the weekly part of the motel, the weekly / nightly part, and just doing a week. But then see if that gets out to 3 weeks, I've already spent $100 more, damn near, and for 3 weeks. So it made no sense economically. Oh, fucking A, dude. Yeah. There you go. I like your attitude, man. It's a good attitude. I was trying to watch some of Get Chalked Up. I think they're still live. That's probably why there's nobody over here. Hell, maybe I'm on their show. I like to see more of that. And I try to do that, and then sometimes I'm distracted. But it's like, oh, such and such went live. Well, let's just go see what they're talking about. And then if it's boring, just move on to something else. I was trying to tell that Bex, Pythagosaurus Rex, Bex. And Musical The Secret thinks that's Fed Up Southern Girl, which it may be, but then if that's true, there's no Fed Up Southern Girl. Like this is just all characters, right? So we don't even know who the real person is. It doesn't seem like. And at this point, I'm just gonna pretty much just have to take people as they present themselves until I'm have definitive proof otherwise. And she's been on some kind of crazy amount of live streaming. I've been screen capping, as we know from yesterday. I've been screen capping. I think that's going to be a bigger and a bigger deal. The screen capping, if enough people figure it out, that's a thing. I think a lot of these folks are just so new to, they're not really computer, or were not computer nerds back in the day like I am. So I don't think it occurs to them. It's like, oh yeah, they don't leave their live stream up, but it's like, yeah, I recorded it onto my computer, so we still have it, right? Like once when it's on the public internet, it can be captured quite easily, right? What's up, Rachel Zinger? Oh, I love being out at this. I love it. I love it. Reminds me of this Twilight Zone episode. I really liked that TV show. I had a book at one time too, some Twilight Zone book. But one of the Twilight Zones was some guy just like wakes up one day and like he likes being by himself and reading books or whatever, and then so one day just everybody's gone out of the city and he's like loving it, but then of course he drops his eyeglasses and steps on them and breaks them while he's trying to pick them up, and then that's like the big tragedy is that he's finally alone with his books and now he can't see them. Ha ha, well played, Twilight Zone. Shout out to Rod Serling. But yeah, but I remember seeing that as a kid. I was like, damn, I just loving the idea of being the only person around. So we might have some Johnny come lately introverts that aren't really introverts, but yeah, Benton can socialize and has social skills, but that sounds pretty fucking introverted, hermetic to me. Not hermetic, but like a hermit-like. What's up, Woody? Good to see you, sir. Shout out to Six in the House. I'm pretty sure Get Chalked Up still live, so usually we'd be doing a little better over here. Yeah, not many people out at this time. That's right. The fucking Enterprise rental again. I got half of mine to go down there and just shoot down the fucking loudspeakers. I mean, I'm not going to do that, obviously. Yeah, man, that's a lot of places ain't really nowhere to walk. Yeah, they got to watch out for me though, to be fair. But yeah, wild animals. That's a big deal. Well, and Rachel, I don't know if you were here, but I actually met somebody on the live stream yesterday. Although he might have been under the influence. I'm not exactly sure. Certainly possible. So it's like, the things that, I might get into some adventures, especially back in my drinking days. And then the next day it's like, what's this fucking phone number? Like, what's this email? Oh, yeah, I met that bozo crazy motherfucker last night. Shout out to the live. What is this? Oh, Charlie Brown. Thanks, sir. $5. Much appreciated. Appreciate it. Not necessary, of course, but thank you. Gee, I'm kind of going through it, man. Again, I think half of this is going to get whatever this is. Oh, and I'm sick, man. Got fucking sick yesterday. Intense, man. Intense cramping. It's like I'm a woman now on some level, man. Good God. I'm pretty sure I know what happened. I think it's going to be good in the long run. I think the old gallbladder saw an opportunity to maybe get rid of some of its poison or whatever's built up in there over time. But oh, rough, man. Sick last night, and then, like I said, wanted to call into Paul's, but between the losing of the flashlight and then my disaster of a broadcast, especially with the tech issues, fuck, I was just like, man, am I really just going to sit here for 3 more hours feeling like shit? And then I was saying, like, I remember saying on the live stream, like, well, I got a built-in excuse if I don't want to just sit here. But then I'm thinking, yeah, I really do feel like shit though. This is not, I'm not making this up. Fucking A. Can't trick the master. Oh, we are the spirit. Yeah, the police state. Okay, I see what's going on here. It's not always about you, Mr. Benton, believe it or not. Yeah, I hate this place. The cannabinoids don't work here. I mean, they do, but they don't, right? They do, but they don't. And there's been some concern around my lungs. I'm pretty sure my lungs are just fine. But yeah, the vaping definitely, for people who maybe aren't that observant of their own physicality, I can see that being a problem. But they do make me cough a lot at times. Oh, awesome, man! I love projects like that. Music Holds a Secret's been reorganizing his music, 30,000 songs. Yeah, man. God, yeah, I used to love that sort of thing. In fact, I had an old external hard drive that eventually I, for whatever reason, left at my grandmother's. Last time I was over there, I think her son, my uncle, had probably found it in one of her cabinets. And my grandmother's got dementia, so she was probably bothering him about it. And I don't even know what this is. She's at the stage of dementia where she thinks people are stealing from her, and she's become aggressive, man. She made her aggressive. I haven't talked to her. I know it's fucked up, but if she's not going to remember it anyway, like, what's the point of calling it? I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. What do y'all think? But I love my grandmother. We had a close relationship. But once their mind is gone, but then they're not fully gone, right? There's still something there, but I don't know. I don't know, man. What? Go to the bathroom? Oh, watermelon. Yeah. Well, see, here, that's what fucked me up last night. It was the watermelon, and then my appetite has increased. I think my body's trying to put a little bit of lean mass back on. And then for anybody who's ever been through some cycle of like obesity, because I was technically obese at a certain time, believe it or not. Somebody who's gone through like obesity, but then also, I put on a lot of muscle in not that long of a time, realistically, comparatively. Dude, I can put weight on like pretty quick. So, but then I can't handle lots of food. It's a volume of food. But then from the weightlifting and the forcing myself to eat, like I can eat way more than I would have been able to otherwise, right? So I think I probably should have waited like another hour after the watermelon, and then because I had an extra 2 cans of tuna and three more eggs, and I had the egg whites. And I don't think the egg whites made me sick. I'm just saying, like, something about all of those things happening like too close to each other. God dang, dude, it was rough. And I don't hardly ever complain, so it was rough. Yeah, but the watermelon's a good thing. I think that all that peeing is, people think it's bad. I think it's good. Just annoying because I'm getting up so many times in the night, right? There's a vehicle out here in the parking lot, but based on where they're parked, I'm not sure that anybody's here. quite yet. If I was really tricky, I wonder I could probably drag one of these picnic tables farther down the way, but I guess they'd figure it out eventually. Yeah, that's what they should do. Accommodate me. Give me my own picnic table. 30,000 songs, man. But yeah, I had that old hard drive, and I didn't even want to deal with it. It's like I was a whole different person by then. It's like, do I really want to go through all some of these old files? I just threw it out the fucking window of my car. Because I'm thinking like, well, I want it to be destroyed if I'm going to get rid of it. I just 60 miles an hour chucked it out of the fucking car. Pretty sure it got destroyed. In retrospect, hell, I guess I should have hung on to it. Yeah. Oh well. Too late now. I'm sure I had a lot of cool shit on there. You really could have seen. That was a lot of ex-wife number one stuff, like a lot when I was with her. So it would have been a gang of pictures. We got married in Jamaica. I had all those pictures on there. The stuff we do, man, sometimes. Now this parking lot's become a truck stop, apparently. Oh, syncing the lyrics. Well, and for those who may not know, Music Holds a Secret is he's doing it right with his audio gear, as far as I can tell. We've had some talks about that. Golden age of affordable electronics, as I've noted before. Man. Oh, this is called Sutherland's. It's like a local regional chain for like hardware store, like a Lowe's, I guess. Lowe's style store. Almost like a Tractor Supply, borderline Tractor Supply. Yes. They got like a garden center, a bunch of plants, a bunch of bagged feed, and whatever, peat moss, whatever the fuck you need. Outdoorsy. I don't know. I only stop here because of the benches, the picnic tables, right? And then, man, like yesterday, just I still think I can do stuff, man, like truck driving or whatever. The reality is that I'm done by like 1:32 in the afternoon. I'm done. Now, some days I might be able to, there's been days when I keep live streaming and blah, blah, blah. That's a bonus, right? I'm finally starting to figure this out, guys and gals. So like a bonus. And maybe Drew's done now. I see the numbers going up. But shout out to the CBO crew, man. I can't really. I'm just even trying to watch their live streams. It's at a certain point, I could tell that the material and the content had just sort of diverged from anything that I would want to be. I'm not saying it's not interesting. I just don't. It doesn't appeal to me, and I'm not connected to it in any way, whatever they're talking about. So I can see why I'm not over there anymore. Although I personally wouldn't necessarily. I don't know, man. Just the personalities. When I'm looking at the mix of personalities he's hosting over there, it's just not. It's just not a mix, man. Am I making sense? I don't know. Yeah, way too much. I don't know. Is that possible? Can one spend too much on audio? Do you ever watch any of these channels? Sometimes I watch these videos where they talk about old audio gear. Like I listened to a whole video last night. Of course, I listen, right? I don't even watch the videos most of the time. So even if it's an actual video, I'm still listening to it. It was all about the history of Techniques. The company Techniques, most famous for their turntables, their DJ friendly turntables, but also known for much other gear. I used to love Techniques back in the day. Although I thought it was Technique. I always said Techniques, but that must have been my own overly literal. It's like, well, why isn't it spelled Techniques? But yeah, Techniques. That was interesting, the history of that company. And I'm pretty sure I figured out what went wrong with the tech issues yesterday. OBS kept crashing before I went live, and I was too lazy to reboot because the way I'm using my computer now, I'm manually logging into all of like the StreamYard, the fucking YouTube, which requires that YouTube's got me on the two-factor, verification now since I'm monetized. That's most likely what happened. What's up, Fake the Funk? Good to see you. I still want to get Music Holds the Secrets input on. I'm thinking about doing a Monday and Tuesdays and maybe Wednesdays, just for the. I don't know if I want to call them members or fans, or of course everybody's grandfathered in, that's already here. That seems like a way to work into some sort of monthly membership, but then I don't even know, because it's like, dude, believe me, I'm not above taking the money. I mean, it's not even that. It's like, do I really think that highly of my content? It's like, and then the amount of money that would be required for me to make it, even for me to make well, let's say I did 8 shows, say I did 10 shows a month, like for some segment of the audience that's not just the public internet audience or whatever I'm trying to say. To even get $1 a show after YouTube's fees, that's a lot of, that's damn near $20 probably. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think, no, it's like, yeah, I'm worth $20 a month, although I know I am on some level, but I don't know. Yeah, but I geek out on the tech, on the especially audio gear, man. I love audio gear. Me and Drew kind of had that in common to some extent. I think he knows a little more about it than me, but I really like the affordable stuff. I'll waste money on stuff that is unusable, and just to kind of hopefully find something that works out. There's just something about finding some very affordable tech that works. It's really enjoyable for me. Oh, see, I thought that was your. Oh, that's Woody with the. Okay, I was lost. That's the trick, Woody, is finding the thing it's 70% as good as the super fucking expensive one, but then it's like so cheap. But then just dealing with whatever this flaws and the drawbacks are, right? Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, the Chi-Fi, exactly. I never heard it called that, and I follow like this cheap audio man or whatever. Although with some of these channels, man, that are, especially the ones that are, I don't even know what I'm trying to say at this point, but it's like I'm really loving all their videos for a period of time, and then I'm just out. So I'm out on him now, but that's good stuff. But yeah, man, it's kind of like me telling people that, well, I hate to break it to y'all, but the fucking Tesla Plaid is the fastest production car in the quarter mile, and nothing else is anywhere near it. That's not damn near the same car anyway. Yeah, the fucking Tesla Extreme or whatever they call it. Sorry about your Hellcat luck, right? But kind of same thing with that Chi-Fi stuff. Some of it is so, especially for the money, you're just like, what is this even possible? Because I've been talking about that DAC I bought. I guarantee you the same DAC, as far as the quality, is probably $25 by now, and then whatever you can get for what I paid is like way better. And that has not been that long. That's like a year, maybe a year and a half. It's fucking wild. I guess it's all about the chips now. And that was the thing about the Techniques video, was them apparently struggling with their transition from the analog, high end stuff, and then trying to service the digital. Oh yeah, well, not even off the line. 9.6 seconds in the quarter mile. That's top end too, brother. You can't run no 9.6 in the quarter, because the mile per hour, that's like 150 miles an hour or something. It's not possible to go that quick in the quarter without also having a really high MPH, right? I don't care how fast off the line one is, but I hear you. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's a goddamn truck stop. Bizarre. Maybe these truckers are communicating with each other a little more. And all they're going to do is ruin this nice parking lot. I mean, lest we forget. Isn't that right? Music Holds the Secret. And I don't mean by throwing their fucking urine bottles everywhere. Just the rig. And that's a frame miller. If he's loaded, he's damn near 80K. Right? That's hauling reefer. Fry miller, or however you say it. That's whatever. I almost went to work for them. It was between them and Snyder. I'm glad I went Snyder. And the reason why I said no to them is they do the forced team driving, the rookies. They make the brand new people. Oh, it's training. That's like, it's not training if the trainer's asleep in the bunk. What are you talking about? That's team driving. That's not it's not training. The trainer's not awake while the training's being conducted, then it's team driving for pennies, for fucking peanuts. No thank you. I researched this entire industry before I went into it. But yeah, sorry for shitting on your point. You're right, they are crazy fast off the line. But so is a Hellcat on slicks with a proper driver, right? I think they're coming like this new that Rivian pickup truck or whatever. There's something similar to that. I think it's like 1,600 horsepower now. Something crazy. 100,000. Oh, you mean the Teslas? I was about to say, or I thought you meant these pickup trucks that everybody's driving around that are all 100,000. That you're right, they are 100,000, but so is a lot of this other bullshit. I mean, yeah, I understand that people like pickup trucks and all of this, and I like them too to some extent. But bro, these nice pickups are 100,000. So yeah, it's fucking crazy out here, man. I remember they were like 60, and then it was like, oh, 85,000 for a, top of the line, dually diesel or whatever, fucking 3,500. That's 100, 115 probably. Nuts. No, man, don't do it. Don't do it, Charlie Brown. Those pickups are not designed for that, man. Way better off just going straight to the big rig. What's the advantage of driving a pickup and doing the exact same thing that a Class 8 heavy duty tractor does? And you're not going to get better gas. You're not going to get better fuel economy. I know you think you will. No, you won't. These aero trucks, depending on the driver, they can hit 8 miles a gallon. 8 to 10. How heavy are we pulling? And guess who gets inspected all the fucking time? Hot shot. Because the DOT knows if the DOT knows they want to get somebody on something, go pull over a hot shot. Even the people trying to follow the rules and regs don't. It's too fucking fraught with peril. Yeah, if you're gonna drive it, especially, just go straight to the 18-wheeler. Yeah, it sucks at first. It's intimidating. Yeah, I understand. You already know how to drive a pickup, sure, but yeah, that's my view of it. Go straight to the. You can always step down, right? Go straight to the 18-wheeler. 1 year over the road. Hot shot is mostly flatbed, fifth wheel flatbed trailers pulled by heavy duty pickup trucks, which guess what? That's a light duty pickup. I don't know if you know that, but the largest, biggest, fucking baddest full size pickup truck is a light duty truck as far as the industry is concerned. But then you have 18-wheelers, those are Class 8 heavy duty tractors. So realistically, what I do, 3 years of me in a brand new 2023 aero truck, like aero, we mean the plastic cladding with the aerodynamic. At 3 years, I will more or less destroy a pickup that you haul, me driving it, right? And I'm not trying to tear up the equipment, but that's just the reality of the situation. 3 years, that tractor still most likely got some life to it. Yeah, the emissions suck, but you're dealing with that on the hot shots also, and they've got the emissions figured out for the most part, as far as I can tell, as far as it not just breaking down for no fucking reason every other week. Yeah, it never made sense to me. I understand why people are drawn to the hot shot side, but to me, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I guess if you're just never going to use the sleeper, because a lot of those are, it's like I've seen the ones that's married couples on those hotshot channels, and they, of course, they invariably go out of business. It's a tough industry anyway, but you know, they got a woman with them and they're staying at a hotel every night. Like, and that's not that's not the way. Sleeper cab, man. It's nice having that sleeper cab. Yeah, I was a big Portlandia fan. I find Fred Armisen's an interesting fella. Did you? I'm sure you probably know, Woody, that he was in bands for years. I think like in the Bay Area, maybe San Francisco Bay Area. That he was actually at a time he seemed to think that was going to be his career, and then he switched over to comedy. Yeah, interesting. I heard a couple of interviews with him. He's an interesting guy, and that lady's funny too. There are funny women, believe it or not. There's old Swift rolling out. Yeah, part of me, I'd like to be rolling out right about now. Yeah, whoever owns this property is going to have to put a stop to this. This lot is not designed for this. What's happening out here? Where is he? There he goes. Truck stop, man. I do it too, though. And one of them things, it's not like he or she can just pull in anywhere, right? Yeah, exactly. Just 100,000, man. Break 100,000 is just, you know, it's damn near what about 25 grand was when I was a kid. Not that I ever touched 25 grand. Yeah, I think I'm walking, man. I think I'm feeling like a walk. Hmm. I might overlap with Z this morning too. I feel like I got a lot on my mind, and then by the time I get back to the room, it's going to be just about time to tell them about the air conditioner, and then I'm not going to. Then the rest of my day, I'll be waiting around for whatever's going to happen. That'll most likely be a nothing burger. Right. Damn near full moon. Get that back to where is it? Okay. Y'all see it? Yeah, sort of. We're close to 40. Fort Smith is very close to I-40. Although the part of this area that's on I-40 is not Fort Smith, if that makes sense. It's Van Buren, which is the sister city just across the river. Well, across the Arkansas River, but not into Oklahoma. Downtown, if one were to cross the Arkansas River, one would be in Oklahoma. Yeah. It's Van Buren and Alma are the two towns in this area that are on I-40, if that makes sense. And then we're very close to I-49, which used to be I-540, or that was the old Highway 71 bypass, because US 71 from Alma to Fayetteville used to be one of the most, if not the most dangerous stretches of highway in the country, because of Walmart back then, and the roads in Northwest Arkansas not ever really being up to snuff overall, but certainly way behind back then. J.B. Hunt, Tyson, Walmart, all up in the Fayetteville area. So eventually, I think when I moved, when I went to college in '93, yeah, it was not open yet. 540, I think parts of it were maybe. So that's now I-49, which eventually I guess is supposed to go, you know, all the way across the country, north to south, and parts of it through other parts of Arkansas. I've saw some really good YouTube videos. There's a guy, I forget his channel, who talks about all that stuff, the future like infrastructure projects, and then he's explaining like why it's this one thing is probably going to take 30 years, you know, the local politics or whatever. Oh, the skeeters, man. How dare I come out here with my bare arms? I know better than that. Supermoon. Yeah, lots of supermoons, bro, by the way. is this normal? Historically, I did not pay a lot of attention to the moon. And that was yet another thing I've really enjoyed in my time living outside. Living out of a backpack was uh, observing the moon like way more than I had done historically, right? So I found a particular affinity for the moon, and I get laughed at, but sometimes when I even bring this up. But Crow 777 used to talk about, all the inversions and him in this realm and getting into the colors and, I guess the red and the blue or the red and the green and the purple or whatever, or what are the two colors associated with boys and girls, pink and blue or whatever. And then, these intentional inversions, or I don't understand it well enough, but I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And then he was saying this, the idea that, well, what if the moon is masculine and the sun is feminine? I don't know, man. It makes sense to me on some level, I must say. I don't know what y'all think. And then he's talked a lot about this, like the dark sun or whatever. Again, not my wheelhouse, not my field. Again, I do identify as a conspiracy theorist, so yeah. I'm not able to go back to trucking, Mr. Charlie Brown. Thanks for asking. But my problem is part of my brain will always believe it can, in fact, go back to truck driving. But my health, I'm not able to. Too much fatigue. Ultimately, I'm too fatigued too often. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I understand we want to loop into problem solving, and I understand that people want to give suggestions, but realistically, that is the reality, and most likely can't much be done short of meth, and we're not doing that. So never have, never will. And every time I say never, I end up doing it. So we'll just pretend like I worded that differently. But yeah, it's not going to happen. Hang on, motorcycle coming. Gotta prepare ourselves. Some motorcyclists, when they see somebody, they love to rev their shit to the moon, just because there's like a person around who can hear how awesome the motorcycle is. But thankfully, that was not one of those people. But I have to put my finger in my ears because I never know when it is that person. Hard to know ahead of time. And then some of them sound normal volume until they until they fucking rev it to the moon, and then it's loud as fuck. Okay. Well played, sir. What's up, Goblin? Good to see you. So yeah, I'm screen capping Get Chalked Up from the very beginning in 1.5x, but I can't even. This is what I was talking about earlier. I just don't connect with whatever they're doing over there anymore. So I'm not sure it's even interesting to me. And I know there are things that some of the audience members find interesting that I don't, but a lot of times I know if it's interesting to me, that at least a decent portion of the audience will also find it interesting. Good to see Talcott Express. Saw you in the live chat over there. And by the way, Benton goes where he wants and does what he wants. So you'll never hear old Benton saying, "Hey, I seen you doing this." Yeah, I seen you because I was there, right? So it's like, yeah, what do you mean you saw me? I'm in trouble for what you're doing? It don't even make sense. And I don't think that way anyway, right? But I do see that dynamic with other folks sometimes. Just want to put that out there. But yeah, I'm not posting in the chat, although I will if I want to, clearly. But I tuned in for a bit. I don't know, man. I can see what they're doing. I can see the entertainment, and there's something there, but it's at some point there's been a divergence. In my own psyche, perhaps. Thank y'all for riding along. I needed this for this morning. Oh, Benton feeling some type of way in his feelers. You know it's getting serious when Benton's in his feelers. Shout out to Highly Suspect. And then I got Highly Suspect texting me. Somebody hadn't heard from me today. Motherfucker, you hadn't heard from me. What are you talking about? Is that one of them call us when you get there? Y'all remember that? I never called anybody, not one fucking time. But of all the times I told some people, just so they'd leave me alone, hey, well, call us when you get there. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm 0 for my life. Nobody has ever received that phone call. Okay, so I hadn't heard from you today. Yeah, that's pretty fucking normal. It's 6 mornings to be a week, you know. Shout out to Big L. I hadn't talked to him in about a week, but you know, how many of us have had these friendships where it's like the one person is always contacting the other person, and at a certain point, it's like, hey, if the one who never fucking calls doesn't make something happen, right? So I think it's probably my turn. So timing is my issue there a lot of the time. Timing. People got lives, man. They're busy nowadays. Probably where some of the autism comes in. I can be bad at sort of knowing when's a good time to reach someone by telephone. Meanwhile, of course, I prefer face-to-face communication. That's not in the cards. Blame it on midnight, shame on the moon, Bob Seger. Oh, bad moon on the rise. Well, definitely not going to try to sing any Fogerty. Certainly don't have the pipes for that. The moon looks like an X-ray of the Earth. It's more and more confusing to me the longer it goes. Oh, well, shit. Some new asphalt. I could probably walk on it, I suppose. Famous last word. Which version of the Earth? I see a bad moon arising. I see there's trouble on the way. I see them hurricanes and lightning. I don't know the rest of it. Don't come out tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the right. Here's an Aldi. Never been an Aldi guy. Thanks, Benton. It's pitch fucking black. But yeah, somebody, I think it was RT, was talking about mobile phones and the StreamYard and the streaming. I'm on. This works great, especially since it's on 4G. Now, I'm not a 5G basher across the board, but for Verizon, sometimes quite often the 4G is actually better, which is bizarre sounding. But then they just don't have 5G in a lot of areas. They just don't have it. So, I don't fucking know. Whatever version. Man. Oh, this is where that fella was asleep. Let's see if maybe it's his regular spot. Might be his pickup. He just parks out here and just sleeps on it. Wouldn't be a bad idea. It's covered out here. More and more, I'm thinking that's going to be where I'm going to be. That will be where I will be. Sleeping rough. Too bad the entire West Coast is more or less off limits at this point. Winter is coming. September the 28th. My room will be. I'll be available anyway, or able to leave, right? Or make other arrangements. That's damn near winter. That's October. Was that fall? Yeah, here's another picnic table. Yeah, I'll start coming down here. Here we go. Archaic records. Yeah, this also, surprise, surprise, this handle or whatever we're calling this little flexible tripod deal. And you get what you pay for. I think this was 20 bucks at Wally World. Obviously, could have done a lot better for the same money on Amazon. Love-hate relationship with Amazon continues. Should carry a Coke, some aspirin, and a bottle of water. Definitely in a humorous interview next time. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, and that's going to be the thing, man. And I'm starting to realize that's probably why all signs seem to be pointing to Benton sleeping rough, which I do enjoy and prefer on some level, but certainly comes with its own inherent drawbacks. Obviously, would never recommend it. Although I would not necessarily recommend people live in a house or an apartment either. Hey, here's T-Mobile. Did not even know this was here. Maybe the T-Mobile network actually works here. They are stingy with the hotspot though. And there was a mix-up. I don't know if I ever told you folks, but I went into a T-Mobile store because I had been doing research, and this was when I was doing long-haul truck driving and starting to get into streaming. So I realized I need some data because the truck stop Wi-Fi may or may not work. That's just even if one pays for the truck stop Wi-Fi, it may or may not work. I paid money for it and had it not work. So yeah. And I thought I was trying to go to Metro by T-Mobile, where it turns out they would sell me 100 gig of hotspot for like 50 bucks, but you have to have a voice line with them, a regular cell line. So I went to just T-Mobile, but I think I was confused, and then just in truck driving fatigue and limited time, and just oh, I got to drop the trailer at the truck stop and then bobtail just to get to the fucking place, to the T-Mobile store. And so I told them I wanted prepaid hotspot 100 gig because that's what Metro had, Metro by T-Mobile. Well, what T-Mobile had was postpaid 50 gig for $50. So that the guy just signed me up for postpaid 50 gig, $50. I didn't even bother to, I didn't bother to look into it, or I just assumed that that's what I got. So when I was done with it, just like I did with my Verizon hotspot, I just stopped paying for it because that's what prepaid is. Hey, we give the money, we use the service. If we don't want the service, we don't give the money. Then there's no service. So now they got collections trying to come after me. And I even called them and tried to say, like, hey, clearly I'm not ever going to pay for this because I did not use it. And of course, they chose to continue the service for like 3 months. And I'll never do postpaid. And that's one of the many reasons I'll never do postpaid. That's just one of them. I worked for a call center, third party for a Sprint back around 2011. Yeah, 2011, 2010, somewhere in there. And I guess because of my pedantic nature and that I am detail oriented to some extent, I eventually became quite adept at decoding, deciphering, and explaining people's postpaid bills to them, because a lot of the times they owe a certain amount of money and it really doesn't seem possible. But the more one investigates the fine print and the legalese and the bureaucratic nonsense and the little loopholes and gotchas, I was able to actually explain to them and more or less just be telling them like, yeah, this really sucks, basically, that this is the way it is, but this is the way it is. I'll never do postpaid. And still, now I probably can't go to T-Mobile at all. They probably want their money. It's like, no, I'm not paying that. Y'all are crazy. What? No. Yeah, should I have known better? Yeah, certainly, but I'm still not going to pay. Why would I? That's nuts. No, it's just, yeah, I'm not. When I even told the lady on the phone, I said, yeah, the thing is, I'm a truck driver if I'm gonna go drop the trailer and bobtail somewhere, I'm going to Verizon because I was trying to get a T-Mobile hotspot turned back on. So yeah, I'm just going to Verizon. That's the thing. And it's like, how can I be talking to a human, but then the system is just it's set up not to it's set up to just go through the basically like the fucking chat bot, you know? Now the human's behaving like the chat bot in a way. And just whatever metrics that the workers based on, they just want to loop back into the apology and the trying to assuage my feelings. And it's like, no, let's wait a minute. I just want some hotspot. Let me worry about let me deal with my silly emotions. That's all right. And I got this clutch replacement. Got to figure that out. Clutch and flywheel, most likely. Why I didn't do all of that when I had the money is beyond me. Oh, 314. Somebody was asking me gas prices. They've gone down in the area because somebody was like, yeah, 335 for gas or whatever. Here it's 315. Yes, 315 now. I don't know what happened. As much as I say I keep up with gas prices, I guess I missed them for about 5 days. Oh man. And then, again, at the risk of whining about my health, dude, my nerves are just fucking shot some of the time. And that there's got to be something I don't know what's going on in the library, but I think sometimes just going to some of these places, it seems like I'm getting affected to some extent. And I told you they sprayed whatever poison they sprayed into my room, for the bugs. Who even knows what poisons I'm taking in? Best case scenario, we're still being fucking actively poisoned. Pretty much all of us, right? As now I'm in the Walmart Supercenter parking lot. What I've contended to be the most surveilled public space in the country. What do y'all think? I was there. I worked for a Walmart vendor when September 11th, 2001 happened. I had a badge to go into Walmart ISD anytime I wanted. I think that's Information Services Division. Yeah, just badge right on in. And they moved all their stuff underground. They used Walmart used the attacks as a pretense to move all their server farms or whatever we're calling that, all their data centers underground. And I believe that's when they just said fuck it and they just completely merged with the rest of Benito Mussolini's helicopter hand, whatever we're calling it. Frequency, manipulation, or poisoning. That's right. Good to see you, Mr. Baxter. There's somebody over here traveling, I guess. Big old fifth wheel trailer. It looks like. Yeah. Are they living? See, is this now homeless people, but with just happen to have some nice shit for now? That old beat up Suburban or whatever that is. I don't know if they're together. It's almost like they're parked where nobody can come steal their rig and make it harder. I don't know. Interesting. And then just people want to kind of group together physically, The fact that I'm trying to stay away from folks, it's hard for me. Sometimes I have to remind myself. People just sort of naturally kind of huddle up with each other in a sense. Right. Yeah. Well, and that's in a way I have a bit of an advantage over some of the folks choosing to live outside with almost nothing, but in a very obviously affluent society, right? So we're supposedly up to 40% of all the food goes in the trash, and wait for this guy to figure out where he's going. Up to 40% of the food goes in the trash, and if one's not that particular, they could certainly they could certainly you know, sustain their lives out of the bins, right? Weirdos, man. I love this. I love this. It's great, bro. I'm recording myself, bro. Look, no, I'm showing you. You see who that is on that screen? You, so, but you just assume I'm recording you when you drive by. But see, you assume. See, you can ask whatever you want, partner. See, they go to cussing. They go to cussing. See, yeah, but see, you act like a nice person, but actually you go to cussing. See, they go to cussing. See, but 10 seconds earlier he was nice. See, so if I fall for the nice, and I just realized I forgot the body cam, but we're on stream. But imagine circling somebody with your vehicle in the Walmart parking lot at 422, pretending to be nice and curious and interested. But the tone of voice and the presentation is an authoritarian, jackbooted oppressor thug cop. That, how dare you be out here, sir? Papers, please. State your business. What business do you have here, sir? Well, that's the thing is, see, I can have an excellent interaction with somebody, but not when they have to meet me where I live on some level, right? Like, so once I show myself as like forceful, direct, and possibly an asshole, he can, if he wants to, he can take that and observe that and then pick a way to respond, right? That could facilitate now almost like an olive branch or a mechanism where, okay, if I can just stay at my level where I'm at, because yeah, I'm coming in somewhat aggressive and hostile and direct, but that's how I am. So like, it's not it's congruent with my personality, right? And I'm cranky old man, and like, you know, I'm not a fan of random people questioning my activities, right? But I'm willing to have a conversation. But you see the people who, you know, do they understand that they're behaving like an authoritarian? Like, literally. That's the behavior, that's the bearing, like the, you know, the posture, the attitude of a, you know, this is my Walmart. See, the guy works there, most likely. Guy probably works there. And then we get into these male aggression dynamics, and then the hierarchies and all of this. It's fascinating to observe these dynamics in real time. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, because I was that same way. I had a similar attitude when I met the guy, that Moon guy in the Tesla. But then he rolled with it, see, and then now that gives me an opportunity to sort of bring my defenses down a notch. And again, it's fucking 4:20 in the morning in, you know, just Anytown, USA or whatever. Which, yeah, that used to sound lovely, right? Anytown, USA. But I'm not, and then my ability to profile so quickly too. It's like, no, this is not what it seems. And so many times that pattern has happened to me where somebody comes up and starts talking to me, acts like they're nice. Hey, what's up, Machine Lies? You know, they act like they're interested, but then, you know, as soon as I don't go along with whatever they want me to go along with, they go to cussing me. So that's why as soon as he started cussing, I'm just like, yeah, and he's going to cussing me. It's a pattern. It's a thing I've seen repeatedly. So why would I pay any attention to the part where he pretended to be nice? Beck's in the house. What's happening? I've been screen capping some of those broadcasts. Interesting stuff. It's more enjoyable for me in 1.5x, just for me personally. Whatever that says about me. Is this a blood moon? We got a blood moon? Are we? Hang on. Is this blood moon status yet? I know y'all can't hardly see it, but it's looking kind of orange. I might have to switch the camera here. Let's do a. Hang on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Settings. Camera. And that I'm definitely not going to be able to produce on the fly effectively till I quit with the cannabis. Oh, yeah, you can't really see shit. You know, the human eye versus what comes through with this camera. This is yeah. Never been a huge fan of phone cameras overall. They got their uses, but not a huge fan. And as a person I've talked to a lot of people, I've approached a lot of strangers. The reality is, man, when I go insert myself into somebody else's day or experience or whatever they're doing, like they get to respond or react however they respond. I think a lot of people are just confused that I'm somehow now, because they've approached me based on me standing here with a phone. I have a phone, a portable mixer, a microphone, and some hardware for carrying around the gear with one hand. It's just like it's 2023, folks. Like it's just nothing groundbreaking or original or new that I'm doing here. It's really not. Um, and then even if the guy's like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" Like, and then shut the fuck up and let me answer, right? So it's just I'm never gonna buy this idea that this is just a person like being nice to me, and I kind of lost my own. I know I had a more in-depth discussion of the dynamics there, but and this is what I do, man. Like this is breaking down all this psychology. It doesn't mean I'm right. It's like deductive reasoning and educated guesses, and my experience, living in the streets for so long and being able to pretty quickly assess somebody. But then again, I'm always giving him the out of, hey man, just revert back to your own humanity. And so many people, especially more aggressive types, they never learn. Once they start going, like once they go in aggressively, they never learn how to slam the brakes on and at least just stop for a second and sort of figure out what the fuck is happening, right? That's what I was doing. I was more or less neutral. Do I seem hostile and aggressive? Sure, I am those things, but I was just in a neutral space. We could have happily had a conversation. No problem. But then that's also one of those things people, and you remember the dude from Hawaii, the midget from Hawaii. That might have been the first random person we ever talked to on stream, possibly. I'm not sure though. I have to think about it. So he was trying to leave. Remember, he was trying to talk to me, but physically he was leaving. And I just point that out because I watch people's feed, I watch their body language. I'm like, bro, how can we have a conversation? You're physically leaving the scene, right? That dude was physically leaving like the whole time he was trying to talk to me. That's also a like bad sign in some ways. But I used ex-wife number 2 used to try to do that to me, and I'd just be like, I was like, how you're leaving the room? Like how can we? But she's just not. She's wanting to say what she has to say, but then I don't get to respond, right? Sure, I get it, but fuck him, man. And also, when a person closes the distance, the physical distance that quickly, that's also a sign of aggression, regardless of their facial expression, their body posture, and what they're saying. Like I'm not going anywhere near. If for some reason I wanted to talk to me, right, and I saw me out there in the parking lot, I would get close enough to like be able to do a little hand motion and get their attention and sort of let them know, hey, I'm coming over there, right? Just this immediate invasion of the space is a very bad sign also. See, I'm learning so much about this person through observation, deductive reasoning, pattern recognition, playing the odds. Oh, well, you're generalizing. Yeah, I'm generalizing. Exactly. I'm running various probabilities based on, in real time, these various factors. And I feel like if I'm right 80 to 85% of the time, even 75, that's good enough. Yeah, I'll deal with the one out of, if it's even that high, 1 out of 4 times I'm wrong. But that's probably closer to, yeah, 85% of the time I'm on the fucking money. What's up, Roy? Good to see you. Yeah, mind control. Yeah, generational sequence. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get into my trip right now, but mind control is certainly one of my areas of interest that I know more than a lot of folks, but a lot of folks know more than me about it. So I think that's the best way to put it. But any topic I'm interested in, I read at least a book or two minimum. So a lot of times it's 10, and then articles and whatever videos I watch, those don't even count in my world. So I don't learn through hearing, not in that way. I learn other things. I don't learn. I should say I don't learn what the person is attempting to teach by listening. If that makes sense. Yeah, that guy was about my age though. But yeah, the thing about streaming is with Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but and I've never been a Facebook user because I've been on the internet since early '94, and I took one. And then when I found Facebook, you still had to have a .edu to sign up, and I was on a .com by then. So I think I probably tried to make an account, and it said, "Well, sorry, you don't have a." That's how long ago this was. So I was like, "Oh, fuck me, fuck you." But it's trash, man. What I saw of Facebook after that is their software, their interface. It's always been trash. It's gonna be trash. It's trash now, and it's gonna be trash tomorrow. And I'm not, I didn't do all that computer nerding back in the day to be on fucking Facebook. And if anybody's on Facebook, that's fine. I understand it's the family thing and all that. Like I get it. But I'm only talking about me. Only talking about me. But and I understand the desire to blame the town. Like I get that. But it's more or less like this everywhere. As far as just random people. That the reality is, when I say that I had more freedom in this country when I was 10 years old, the fact is, whatever I was doing on my skateboard or, riding my bike to the grocery store that was several miles from our house, crossing at least a couple of different busy roads and then, trusted to do this and more or less good luck stopping me, anyway, as far as my parents, but who were strict disciplinarians, lest we forget. But I'm not a fan of this sidewalk. This is one thing. That's another thing about being out and about and living in the streets and all. There's some dangerous situations. In fact, some people were crossing, meeting each other when I was driving yesterday. And one of them had a heavy load or a bulky load, and I actually saw what was happening, and I was the only car coming, so I went onto the left lane, and gave them room where one of them could go out into the street. I'm not a big fan of these kind of situations. America is, in a lot of ways, not set up for pedestrians. Although will say this, man, I think it'll be, if I do end up on foot more, it'll certainly be great for my health in some regard. Well, and then, when I talked about these other folks, and real quick, I'll try to go back to what I was just talking about, but with all these folks moving in near my room, that obviously the potential for theft rises. Not a huge fan of, having my stuff in there. And that's another thing back to, well, there was a time when more or less everything I owned would fit in a backpack. I was never away from that backpack pretty much ever. So just leaving my stuff and going away. It's not all that comfortable. Not paranoid, just, yeah, good for you. That's a sign of, I think that's why we get along. That's an accurate description. Yeah. take a leak in the bushes out here somewhere. Oh, okay. Charlie Brown lives in Fort Smith. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. There's a different thing. Like I know exactly what you're talking about because I've detected that thing. It's just hard to verbalize, but yeah, it's got its own uniqueness. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The culture and the local. It's a different thing, man. I know what you mean, but I'm also tying it in generally. That it everywhere I go, authoritarians try to insert themselves into my business. It's just this is a different flavor of that, right? This is a different flavor of that same thing. So I'm agreeing with you, Charlie. Yeah. How long before it's just like I'm out here and random people like Charlie Brown? Not that you're a random person, sir, but eventually. And I've had people not doing this, but in the Joe Rogan message board days, I had a person just came and found me, and then I met up with several people also um, as well that I met through the message board. It was in some ways, I am set up for the borderline lolcow, fucking IRL streamer, just traveling around without a care in the world type of thing. I've done that before to some extent. Although I was definitely more lolcow. Lolcow is just the obliviousness. It's the in order for one to actually be a lolcow, they have to be almost completely unaware of like why people take pleasure in trolling and giving that person a hard time. And they'll never truly figure it out. The stuttering John Melendez, like he's figured part of it out. You can tell now because he was gone for a while and he was one of the big lolcows. A lot of channels were making their livings off of stuttering John being oblivious, and then every time, so those type of people, every time they get fucked with, they just play right into it. You know, like they can't help themselves. But I'm realizing, man, for me doing content is all gonna have to be early in the day, and this is what I consider early in the day, by the way. So damn near nighttime for some folks, right? It's just I got to be done by like noon or one. And if I got more to give, then that can go into show prep for the next day or whatever. Maybe learning OBS, right? Although I think the main thing to know there is uh, when it crashes, because it's always crashed for me. And I'm running Linux, so maybe it works better. There are some things, some software does run better on Windows. I'm not just like I'm not going to use Windows. And once I say no, like Chrome, dude, Chrome works great, but it's had that spyware and all that, telemetry, and just basically it's as invasive as possible. Like as soon as Google figures out a way to be even more invasive, they do it, right? So, and then Chrome has 65% of the browser market worldwide, apparently, is the claim. Hold on, I'm just going to sit this on the ground. All right, be right back. Oh, buddy, gotta take a leak. Shit. Ah, fucking A, man. Fucking A, man. All right, we're back, I think. Can I get a mic check? 'Cause, I forgot that I had the lavalier mic pinned to my shirt. So when I set the rig down and stepped away, the cord pulled and the whole rig fell over. And I'll say this, man, assuming it's still working, this Vid Pro, which I mean, is that even a brand? I guess this Vid Pro. Oh shit. Sorry about that. I put the battery in backwards because the battery fell out. So yeah, 5x5. See, it probably switched over to the phone mic. See, I'm probably on the phone mic now. That's the thing about these phones. You'll just go to the phone mic and it doesn't tell us. So yeah, because it's never 5x5 if I'm on the phone mic. Generally, I'll have the earbuds minimum. Yeah. See, now I don't even want to keep talking because now I'm thinking I'm on the phone mic. Later, Gob. Shout out to Nuba in the house. I don't know. If anybody, I hope I'm not on the phone mic. That's all I can do. I hate that, man. When I watch one of these back sometimes, I'm like, I'm on the fucking phone mic. And that was more of like in my truck or something. Especially if I went on a good rant and then, oh, I'll go back and watch it later. Oh, great, phone mic. Good to see you, Mr. Baxter, by the way. Yeah, the whole fucking rig fell over. So yeah, assuming this thing still works, 99 bucks is kind of expensive for what it is. This little portable mixer, but what is this? The XM AD5, I guess. The durability, it's taken a licking. It's hit the deck several times. It still works. Built pretty tough too. You can get pretty much the same similar item for, because it's got like 2 microphone preamps built into it. But it outputs mono, which I like, because actually it's just simpler. And for what I'm doing, I'm really not, the stereo is not a benefit as far as I can tell. I do like this mono only output. I actually like that. Okay, good. Thank you. I panic sometimes. I'm like, oh no. It's panic mode. Yeah, shout out to 28 in the house. I don't know. I'll wrap up about the time Z starts yapping, unless if I feel like it, I'm just going to keep going. And I saw Talcott was complaint. He was Paul. I guess Paul was on Talcott's stream, and I don't watch hardly any of those, but sometimes I watch Paul's when Paul ends up on Jack's show, right? Jack's panel, and I know there's been a lot of people going to Jack's channel and shit talking on Paul, and so Talcott seemed to be verbalizing. Talcott was saying like, yeah, I don't need to have people coming over here and doing that, and same thing for me here, man. And it hasn't really even been that much, but Snafu seems to think it's all right, and other folks, Tommy, of course. Oh yeah, exactly. Talcott Express. He said I'm right here. That's right. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, I think y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah, there's the store. That's where I sit a lot of the time. If anybody's curious. Oh man, dude. Well, and you know what? I'm assuming that was a breakdown, some sort of mental breakdown. Whatever he went through before, the whole transition out of the post office. Again, not my business, right? But there's something to that. I have 2 skateboards, new, but I can ride a skateboard no problem. But with my health issues and my malabsorption, I'm pretty sure my bone density's been affected. So I'm actually, by medical choice, not riding a skateboard anymore. Although if I want to jump on it and push around a little bit, I will. But and in fact, I even had a skateboard for some of the time I was living out of a backpack. So I saw a guy one day with the gigantic hiking backpack like mine, but he was on a skateboard. And I remember thinking, like, man, at first I just assumed that I wasn't going to do that or wasn't able to. But eventually I ended up where I was pretty good, like riding around, at least just for getting around. Skateboards are very convenient transportation, and especially in large cities, or they can be. So I know Seattle was a place that I rode a skateboard a lot with a gigantic backpack. And one time I ate shit so fucking hard, man. And it was so bad that like some dude stopped his car and was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" But the main problem was that once I hit the deck, like most of it, my pack took most of the brunt of it. And I still had muscles, right? So actually my arms were, you know, probably fell like on my side of my arm or something. Just brace my shoulder. But I did get. Then I have to like crawl out of the backpack. It's like this whole thing of trying to unstrap so I can stand up. Pretty funny. But that was just hauling ass and thinking like, oh, of course I can just like ollie up this curb or whatever. But like not even an ollie. Oh, of course I can just make this little maneuver. But I was going way too fucking fast and just ate it. Just bought it. And that's the thing about a skateboard. Everybody's buying it at some point. Everybody's eating shit at some point. And in fact, that's the main reason I never got really good at skateboarding in spite of putting a lot of time into it, is I was not willing to get hurt, man. It's a very brutal sport. Anybody who's really good at skateboarding is very, very tough person. And I was basketball. I played a lot of basketball back then. That was my main sport. As much as I loved skateboarding, I really did back in the day. Of course, I was in the big pants, tiny wheels era, which was in some way like the worst era of skateboarding in a way. Yeah. Traveling was for skateboarding. Fantastic. Yeah, I love skateboarding. What's up, Machine Lies? Yeah, Paul and Fang. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is not the shit on Paul channel. Like, yeah, you whatever, but I'm not gonna. You say whatever you want in the chat. I guess I'm really more talking about people coming on panel and saying things. I don't know. The live chat, it seems like a little more jokes, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, good to see you, Machine Lies. I try to watch some of those Get Chalked Ups, but I don't know, man. I've diverged from the content in some way, of whatever that is. I can't make heads or tails out of a lot of what's going on over there. But I can see that people are into it. There was like 95 in the live at like 2 in the morning or whatever it was, 2:30 in the morning, 3 a.m. So yeah, Drew knows what he's doing. Whether we want to. And here's another store, Atwood's, very similar to the Sutherlands. Although I think the Atwoods is even more Tractor Supply. Yes, perhaps. Hey, what's up, Moose? Good to see you, bro. Just whining, crying, and feeling sorry for myself, but not really, but kind of. And I think I needed to quit the cannabinoids about a week ago, and now I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing exactly with that. Hey, there's Bex, rollerblading. There you go. Yeah, I was better than most of the kids where I lived. But this was Arkansas back in the 80s and 90s, but that was mostly because I just did it every day. Like we were ate up with it for a while, me and my friends, and I had one friend that was pretty good, street skater. And we would go like before school in high school. We would get up at like 4:30 in the morning as teenagers, and we would go skate before school, especially in the summer, because by the time school was done, it was really too hot. Yeah, we did a lot of that. It was a daily thing. We'd take car trips, to go skate. Went to Little Rock quite a bit, which was kind of a big deal. Seems ridiculous now, but the world was a larger place in some ways back then. Yeah, there's the Atwoods, if you can see that. Probably can't, but yeah, no, not really. So now we got a month. Well, 29 nights. I guess last night was the first night. There's a random black cat out there in the middle of the lot. Probably can't see it either. Yeah, you kind of no. That's the base of the pole. Maybe I need to learn more about cameras too. There's a lot to learn. A lot to know. When Music Holds a Secret's second wife told him she was cheating, I put on my rollerblades, started all over the neighborhood. Strange reaction. Yeah, there's something to that though, especially if a person is good, they know how to do that, like fast and intense, something to just kind of hauling ass. No, I think I say I can't picture things, but it's like my mind is creating scenes of things I have seen, like somebody, like a grown adult male rollerblading from a movie or something like that. Yeah, that's good stuff, right? But I'm finding more and more I'm not going to deviate from my schedule. There's a reason why I'm wide awake more or less by 3 a.m., 3:30 at the latest, and a lot of days it's 2 a.m. and I'm as sharp as I'm going to be anyway, right? There is a lot of I know y'all are tolerating a lot of absent-mindedness, scatterbrainedness, uh, a near total lack of a short-term memory at times, and not cannabis induced. The cannabis makes it worse, but it's not cannabis induced. I was like this before I got back on the cannabinoid. Oh, really? Nuba had a skateboard shop, I think he means. Yeah, board company did. Oh, nice. Did the tour thing, lived it. Yeah, I was out of it as far as me pursuing it as a sport or a pastime or whatever you want to call it, or a progression, right? Skateboarding is a progression for the person skateboarding. So by the time I gave up the progression part of it, um, the money I don't think had really come in yet, like what you're talking about, which is, I'm sure a lot of people had a lot of good businesses, at least for a period of time from, you know, sports like skateboarding. I had a Powell Peralta board that famous when they say when they talk about the skateboarding boom or whatever, and in all of these videos, the person always frames it as, and one Christmas, all more or less every kid in America, especially boys, got us like basically a deck, a full complete skateboard setup, and a lot of that was Powell Peralta boards. And I also got a Powell Peralta board that winter. My parents were Jehovah's Witnesses, so we didn't call it Christmas, but it's kind of the same thing in a way. Yeah, I also got, it was Steve Caballero, all the little dragons, the big dragon in the middle. Thing was a tank. And I may have actually learned to ollie on that board. I don't remember, but I know I was like, nobody could ollie. And then I just tried to ollie in the grass for however many months and finally learned how to ollie. Once I learned how to ollie, that was the deal. And then I don't even remember what board I had after that. Pretty sure that was my last Powell board though ever, I believe. Nothing against Powell Peralta, by the way. Pretty sure that was my only Powell board ever. A lot of cool boards back then too, man. The 80s, dude. 80s, late 80s, mid 80s. My neighbor had a Rob Roscop. I remember that deck. It was a badass deck. I'd never even heard of Rob Roscop because everything we knew was like Thrasher magazine or whatever. Now Thrasher is like an ironic, sportswear or whatever for the youth. Kind of humorous. Gary Baxter skated in Southern California. Nice. Yeah, Tony Alba. Right on. Yeah, the history of skateboarding is very interesting. Very interesting history, actually. And Hawk he's got to be a mind control victim, right? Tony Hawk. I mean, the dude, you can go as far back in skateboarding as you want, and Tony Hawk's there somewhere. You know, whether it was just like he was just now starting to, you know, go to whatever fucking skate park was there, and he was like 7 or whatever, you know, 8 years old, 9 years old. It's kind of wild how he's been involved in just about everything that's ever happened in some way, seemingly. And I'm exaggerating for effect, obviously. I don't mean everything. What's up, Berserker Bear in the house, aka Bushwhacking History? But yeah, and you know that's the thing about that guy. You know, it's like back in the parking lot. You know, part of that is society's become so narcissistic, and I can understand the person just leaping to the conclusion that I'm recording them. But you know, don't we know, dude? Everybody's FaceTimed some version of FaceTime by now. Even that doofus. Everybody's got a phone in their pocket. So I'm not completely willing to go with Mr. Charlie Brown's premise there earlier. Yeah, I understand the ignorance and the just that they're morons, but guess what? That's a lot of places. That's a lot of places. Not trying to give you a hard time either, sir. But I'm finding with my car, as long as I drive around town and don't go past 4th gear or 40 miles an hour, it's not too bad. So who knows? Definitely looking to get that bad boy ship shape, because you saw what happened back then. Just all kinds of endless opportunities for IRL content, right? But yeah, the narcissism of just because of the way I'm holding this, I can see why it would appear that I'm recording them. But that's what I wanted to tell him, was like, hey, no, you know, and I'm actually making something of a humorous point if he was an actual human being, right? And this is where I think O'Shea gets misunderstood for his humor. If I'm doing something that I think is humorous and comical, I don't do the part of human behavior where I clue them in that this is funny and it's time to laugh. Because that, if they can't figure that out in their own brain, they don't deserve my comedy in that regard. I'm kind of making a joke also that, hey, all roads lead to narcissism. Society's become so narcissistic that, of course, I'm out here looking at myself in my phone, watching myself talk on a live. Of course, like, do you really think I'm watching you, sir? Now, it'd be nice if the technology, and I believe some phones, I think you can have the front and the back camera going simultaneously. This is not one of them, not, at least not without some special software. Ribeye Time, fantastic. Music holds a secret, living his best life. Yep. Yeah, you know, it's a thought experiment about Hawk. I mean, I'm not really serious, but I kind of am at the same time. Just something. It's an interesting thought experiment. Yeah, I'm trying to wait till tomorrow to go to the store. I'm getting a little better on my shopping. Now I'm just doing like I'm making $100, be 4 days worth of food and water, food and water, and whatever, you know, coffee, whatever I need. Sounds like kind of a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't go very far. $25 a day. Tracker trucks and slime balls. There you go, Gary. Yeah. Yeah. One of my boards has that I have now has those hollow, the independent, you know, independent brand hollow ones, which apparently are good. I didn't know anything. I had to ask them. I just went to the skate shop in Philadelphia because I know people find it strange and bizarre that I chose to go by myself on vacation to Philadelphia after my first year of over the road truck driving, but I had never really checked out Philadelphia. And Manhattan would have been the choice, or New York City, but I knew that I would not have a good time because I would try to do everything. I would try to go everywhere and see everything. Whereas Philly, I didn't really give that much of a fuck about seeing the sights, so it was more enjoyable for me. And I went to Manhattan on the Amtrak for an entire day. Pretty badass. and then had no pressure again. Now I know I can't see everything in one day, so just sort of did whatever. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Born and raised. That's right. It's well, and then with me being kind of a kind of a city nerd, right? That's a channel I like, this city nerd. But I am kind of a city nerd myself. Like Philadelphia is one of the. There's not very many cities where you have a public transit from the airport to the downtown. So no car rental, no parking involved. Now I think I maybe had to transfer. Like I don't think it was a straight shot maybe, but it was close enough, right? It's like 15 minutes. It's a scam though. Those cards, they got these SEPTA key cards. And I went ahead and bought one of those and loaded it up. It's a total scam. It would not let me use it while I was there. So I put like 20 bucks on one of those. The card itself was like $5 or whatever because it's electronic, some kind of fancy electronic bullshit. Might have been $8 for the card. Never worked. Total scam. Total scam. Because it works for the locals. It's just like there's this delay. It's effectively unusable for like 2 weeks. There's no way it's not on purpose for dummies like me who actually think that the program works as as offered or whatever. And then I'm not going to waste my vacation in line arguing with some black lady at the SEPTA office. But yeah, really good public transit is definitely something I find attractive in a city. And I like cities, unlike virtually everybody that comes to these broadcasts. I actually like cities. And then when I have that conversation with people, it's invariably I have to mention, well, no, I like, I leave the city. I don't go there and stay there. Because that's the first thing the other person wants to talk about is that's what they like about the city is leaving the city. I'm like, well, yeah, please understand, I don't go there and remain there. I also leave as well. And this I certainly is not what I'm talking about when I say the city. I don't mean this. This is what passes for a city in Arkansas, which is a completely different thing. See, I mean, that has not been my experience, Moose. It really hasn't. But yeah, there's shit is going down. But guess what? It also goes down in small towns too. We give a little too much credit to the rural areas and the smaller towns. There's a lot of weird, bizarre crime going on in those places too. But I understand where you're coming from. And again, I would never promote that lifestyle of the city, the big city lifestyle. And I certainly could have lived that way had I chosen, right? But I found enjoyment in it, doing it, visiting the city, involving myself in the activities of my choosing, which sometimes I am there for extended periods of time, but I'm always going somewhere else, whether maybe I'm just going to yet another big city, right? Or I was back in the day. With the West Coast seemingly off limits entirely, I have lost interest in. At a certain point, I think I more or less assumed I would end up probably just traveling up and down the West Coast, based on the time of year. July and August in the Pacific Northwest, and then the coldest months somewhere in SoCal. The Bay, in between, right? Santa Barbara. The West is the best, lest we forget. And now it's damn near ruined, as far as I can tell. Buffalo is interesting, and I know you've covered it's certainly the history is interesting. I know that's obviously established by now, but as somebody who, Buffalo, I always heard about Buffalo growing up between the Hot Wings and the Buffalo Bills, and then typical American fashion, I understood it was a long fucking way. I understood it was really far away from New York City, but that's, it's hard to know just how big. New York State's a big fucking state. You look at the whole state, it's a big one. It's not Texas, but it's pretty fucking big. So having been there in the truck, the big truck a few times, yeah, it's an interesting place, man. There's definitely something to the people that's never completely, there's something within the locals that has never completely been surrendered. Like, this is from my perspective. A lot of places in the rest of the country, just people have given up to a degree. Even myself, in some ways. But I feel like Buffalo, there's still something kind of unconquered in the spirit of the people. Now, maybe that's just me reading into something based on, a portrayal in the media potentially. But and that isn't that Vincent Gallo from Buffalo? I know he made that Buffalo '66 movie. His character in the movie was from Buffalo. I am kind of a independent. I like some of those artsy fartsy art films. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's an art film. I thought that was a good flick. Yeah. Thanks. So, well, I nailed it. Thank you. See, thanks. Wow, I didn't quite expect that, sir, but thanks. See, that's my victory right there. Just he's like, yeah, you nailed it. All right, awesome. I am an anthropologist slash sociologist slash lay expert in human psychology. Uh, in spite of my potential for obliviousness in certain situations. He's already talking to me. Of course, I'm walking down the street talking, so he's just talking to himself. Thinks I'm talking to him. Yeah, Gallo. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like an interesting dude. Zombies walking the streets. It's a literal zombie across the street. What's effectively a zombie, I should say. Not literally. I myself have taken the download on of course, maybe he's schizophrenic, right? And now I'm just playing into his paranoia, perhaps. Um, what there could be an element of that, right? These schizophrenics seem to be in touch with the various waves being beamed at us and the chemicals. And if you've ever actually listened to an intelligent schizophrenic, which I have for many hours in total, they can break down some wild, wild stuff. Me walking down the street with this streamer set up at 5 a.m., 5:09. Oh, Z's live intro 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm not feeling the pressure today, but if I can see that I'm running out of things to talk about, but with my schedule today and this, again, it's 5. This is part of one of the drawbacks of the hours I keep. Um, it's like 2 more hours before I can even really start trying to tell people about this air conditioner. And then, how folks are. It's basically noon before, and then now it's lunchtime, right? So by the time things are starting to come together, and I'm catastrophizing, and this is what I do. I worst case scenario, and then we'll take it from there, right? It's like there's some work going on up here. I'm going back to the room, prepare my meals, organize the place so I don't look like a completely irresponsible bozo, whoever's going to end up coming into my room. And then also the possibility of it, in fact, not getting fixed today, which is always possible. Maybe it's a good thing all these people moved in. They'll be blasting their AC. Oh, is that a food truck? I thought that was like a team of work. No, it is. Yeah, work. They're doing ditch witching. Yeah, the ditch witch. But that's the thing with that guy who approached me at Walmart, the authoritarian. He's a cop, by the way. On some level, he's behaving as an agent or a cop. My behavior's deviated from what he considers to be the norm, and he demands an explanation. He's outraged on some level, but We just never got to. I never really got to make my point with him that no, that's me on the screen, you fucking bozo, but not you fucking bozo. Like, you know, you're a lowly person. Like, it could have gone in a very joking way, dude. If I went up to somebody and approached them aggressively, and they responded like I responded, I would laugh. I would find it fucking hilarious. You know, just the fact that that guy found absolutely no humor in the situation. I don't want to talk to somebody like that. You see how it's it's going to be a self-selecting thing. If I do end up, you know, spending 20 minutes just having a chat with somebody, and then maybe, you know, they can interact with the live chat a little bit, right? And maybe even have a panelist. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen, right? But I don't want to start down that road and then it's this guy, but we didn't vet him properly, and he's just a fucking ass, right? It's okay to be an ass, but if that's just all they are, maybe not interested in that, right? Yeah, something's going on down here. They're tearing up the concrete. Tearing up the concrete. Sidewalks closed. Pizza boy found another way home. Oh, epilepsy warning. Epilepsy warning. Yeah, epilepsy warning. I think I got to dip around the back here. I think I can go around the back way. Yeah, I think I can dip around behind all these stores and restaurants. Long John Silver's, by the way. Oh, Woody wants to 2-1. No, I'm not getting back on the road. Unfortunately, the reality is that my health is never going to allow me to do that job ever again. Although I still might get what we call a wild hair and go drive for whatever amount of time I can stand up to it, which will probably only be 6 weeks, 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks, probably just to get some money up. That might happen, but realistically, I can probably only even pull that stunt a couple of more times before the industry realizes, oh, he's just going to show up and work just long enough to make a few grand or save up a few G's, and then he's out. They're not trying to get involved in that. They have a high turnover rate, so I would argue, you know, whatever they get out of me is probably at least break even for them, right? But it's so expensive, that process of hiring and all onboarding and all that. But again, they have unavoidably high turnover. A lot of these companies, so kind of doesn't make sense on a level. It's like, well, yeah, but you're churning through the drivers anyway. Might as well have somebody who's at least going to do a good job. You know, pick up and deliver on time. But then I'm probably quitting. I'm probably quitting after like my 7th paycheck. What's up, Sunshine Time? Good to see you. But yeah, I'm too fatigued too often because of my illnesses. But part of my mind was just never going to fully accept that, because, you know, life or death. You know, I could drive myself hard enough to just do it anyway, but it's not worth it at this point. And I'm miserable, like, to be around when I like that. I know, because that's what I did with Balkan. When I hit the bonus, I hit the fucking monthly bonus twice for mileage, and very ill, man. Definitely doing better now than I was then, for sure. So yeah, probably no more truck driving. So most likely no more truck driving, but then maybe. And at this point, I'm like, God, I hope not, because it is a shitty industry. So, and then I talk to Big L sometimes about what he goes through, and then I remember what I went through, or chose to put myself through rather, and realizing if I do, even if I go back for 2 months, I'm subjecting myself to that. I'm probably not doing it. But yeah, my preference would be that I would be well enough to just do it full time. You know, eventually maybe find less and less annoying jobs over time, right? Get into some kind of decent situation eventually. That's another thing. You know, every time I start with a new company, I'm sort of starting over in a way. They don't know. They don't know I'm a badass motherfucker till I show them that I'm a badass motherfucker. Talk is cheap. Mannequin. Thought that was a perk. Wrecked them. Damn near killed them. That's another thing. I'm trained not to react to like that yelling. That I can learn a lot about a person if somebody like that just starts yelling. Maybe you heard that, maybe you didn't. Like the people that really it startles them and they like whip around their body. Uh, that's a lot of information revealed about what type of person that is and how they respond and react. So I'm trained to not react, but then now I'm looking back to see what it was. I think it was that same crazy homeless person. Although when they're that crazy, he might live indoors. He could live indoors. There you go. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. That I think that was a much more common thing in years past. I'm sure this is what he's talking about here. His pop drove truck when he was a kid. He would pick him up in the rig. I'm sure there's some of that happening now, but that seems to be like a way more common experience. I've heard a lot of people say that. And even before I went into truck driving, it seemed like some version of that for a lot of folks. And then I go back through the opportunities I've had since I went into truck driving I could be in some sort of stabilized situation. The reality is, man, this is not a stable situation in this realm. Realistically, I am set up for the chaotic on some level. Although it certainly affects me, obviously. Serenity now, praise God. Yeah, always. Well, I do that like I breathe. But that is one thing about the live streams is I'm not as aware as I would be. I've seen times. In fact, I played a video that I recorded in the Walmart parking lot in Jacksonville, Arkansas, where a black lady with a buggy invaded my space, and I didn't detect her until she started talking to me, and that's unusual. But that was part of that was I was distracted with my recording. What is this? This is like some kind of. I wonder if they try to do some kind of food truck. This almost looks like they try to do some sort of food truck, not that camper, but just like a space or something, or maybe they have. I mean, it looks like a little elaborate for just the employee break area back there. I don't believe this is any sort of venue as far as that little stage back there. Really tell. Anyway, it's about as far as I want to explore. Back that away right now. Yeah, I guess it's about time to wrap up. Now that I got stuff to do. Here, let's cross the street at the risk of running into this homeless guy. I will look away from the stream a little more than normal. When I accidentally run into this guy and stabbed or something. Might have been these guys yelling at each other, the workers, as we almost get run over. That's one thing. Always keep one's head on a swivel anywhere near a McDonald's. That would be like the number one way to get run over. Hey, that's one of the highest traffic areas in any town. Is in and out of the McDonald's. Normally I would have noticed, but I was watching these workers. You got to go this way now. That's another thing. Most folks' brains can no longer process like the normal traffic, and then when you add a pedestrian, they just freeze up. Now they don't know what to do. Just it's a problem solving that brain's not set up to do, right? So if I can, I'll just avoid. I'll just get out of there. Otherwise, just everybody focuses on me and wants me to do whatever I'm going to do. But then that's based on the mystery of the hesitation is because they don't know what I'm going to do. So as soon as I show my hand and commit to an area, now they'll just all start driving at me once they feel like they know what I'm doing. These are the dynamics I've noticed. And being a pedestrian, there's a lot of folks driving around in steel cage automobiles or whatever it may be. As a bicyclist comes bizarrely close to me. Although we will just think probably he's a normie who did not understand that's to avoid the potentially homeless people. But if I'd kept going, we would have more or less met right about there. But I seen him coming and doubled back. See, I've been social distancing since day one. Definitely not a homeless person. Probably on his way to work. Studious gentleman in his 20s, perhaps. Is there anything open 24 hours a day anymore? I was thinking about that the other day. Like, is everything just more or less closed by midnight? Since I go to sleep, maybe I get up, but I'm not out and about. 3:30, I guess. Yeah, nothing open at 3:30. I know that. So Taco Bell is open. It's 5:24 a.m. Or they seem to be open. Yeah, they're open. Looks like anyway. Oh, my weekly analytics recap. Fantastic. Wondering what that was. Bejas. Yeah, see, that construction down there is messing up the foot traffic. A lot of cities do not take these dynamics into account doing road work. Yeah, buddy. Well, I don't know. Are we done? Are we finished? Hard to say. Rob just opened his eyes and started typing. Yeah, I guess that's funny. Yeah, Rob on the plantation. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Uh, the longer I wait to do all of these tasks, ingratitude. I just realized that's my problem today. I've become ungrateful, lady. Oh, Rob's off. Okay. I think it's I could be the air conditioner itself, but I don't know the wiring. I was looking at the wiring. It's pretty chintzy, pretty poor wiring. So maybe that's the problem with the air conditioner. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.